Hello and welcome to United. This is the latest episode of United Daily. I'm Ben, and this is going to be chaos today. Just to warn everyone out there, this is going to be utter chaos. He's back again. Radio Gaz is with me. I've also got the best Ian Holloway lookalike on the planet. Russell is also with me, who has a fantastic channel. Russell, before we start, I don't often do this on here, but we're trying to support you as well. I need to sort out our Google AdSense so that I can send you over some money from any profits that we make. But just quickly, what are you doing with your channel?
Yeah, obviously, turn of the year, decided that I'm going to turn the channel into a charity channel. So we're going to spend the next 12 months raising as much money as we can, giving away prizes, doing quizzes, and hopefully by the end of the year, we'll have a vote from all the subscribers, and we'll be giving our money to a Man United affiliated charity. So most of the affiliated charities we've got at Man United, obviously, we know about First Year with Marcus Rashford. There's also the Bobby Charlton Foundation. There's UNICEF United. So more than likely, it's going to go to one of those three charities. But we're holding off till the end of the year because I've had a word with my subscribers and said, what do you want to do? Do you want to vote on a charity now, or do you want to wait? And they've said, with the current climate of the world, we never know where we're going to be at. There could be something new come December that's more worthy of the money. So we said we're going to wait till December, have a big vote, and hopefully have a big, fat, massive check. And either Ben or Gaz Drinkwater can come and present it to me.
Well, do you know what, Russell? Gaz has actually saved this up. So Gaz is willing for you to auction off a date with him. So if anyone out there...
Yeah, that's fine.
It just has to be in Manchester because he doesn't like leaving Manchester.
No.
So,
well, to be honest, I'd rather the date be outside Manchester in case my girlfriend sees me on the day.
So there we go. Open to auction. Russell, keep up that good work. And as I said, I said to Russell when he first started doing it, because he made just everything that we were doing look proper, like insignificant, because we don't want to profit off of this, but also we don't want to turn around and say that we are one too. But what we want to do is support Russell with what he's doing. I'm really good friends with Russ, and I really love what he's doing over there. So what we will try to do, I need to sort out our AdSense. We've got monetization now. I think our costs are around 20 quid at the moment with a couple of different programs we use, because this costs money, believe it or not, people out there watching. So what we'll do is any profits, however big or small they are, I'll also send them over to you, mate, and donate them. So I've just got to sort it out. It's not going to be a big amount, but hopefully it makes a difference.
Every little helps, doesn't it, Ben? Every little helps. You know
every little helps. So we're going to talk about the game tonight. It's a biggie. Guys, make sure if you're watching on any other platform, you come over to youtube.com/allforunited and hit that subscribe button. Alternatively, if you're having to pitch in and out, because I know we're on a little bit earlier today, you can check out the full audio format of this show by searching All for United, United Daily in your chosen podcast platform, whether that's Google, Apple or Spotify. Go check us out and give us a follow over there as well. But if you want to win some goodies, subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/allforunited. We're teaming up with Football Town to help you win some Red Devil merch. Right, let's start, shall we, Gaz? And let's talk about where we're at the moment. Tonight for you, is it a must-win?
I think if we're going for the title, every game's a must-win now, isn't it? But I'm in two minds about the whole situation, because one part of me is saying, well, it was saying before the weekend that if we drop points to Arsenal and we don't have that immediate response from Sheffield United, then the league's already gone, really. And, you know, I'm looking at City. I'm looking at how they've put this incredible form together. They had a perfect month last month. I think it's the first time the team's done that since the 1800s in all competitions. They look really good. They look really impressive, and they've got a lot of title winners in that team. And I just kind of think that City are just going to take the initiative now and carry on going forward, and United are just going to sort of tail off. Having said that, I do have a feeling that is recency bias of recent seasons, of me believing that City are still going to be getting close to 90 points again. That's not the case, is it? We all know that. We all know that you could win the league this season on 80 points, potentially. So City are going to drop off at some point. I just don't know the way it's going to go. I'm not used to this title race malarkey, lads.
It's a weird feeling, isn't it? Russell, what about for you? Same question. Must win tonight.
Yes, for me, touching on what Gaz just said then as well, how well City are playing, and the fact that they've got title winners and people who've won trophies before is probably what's going to get them over the line. And I hate saying that they have got a better team than us. You know what I mean? We're still a team in transition. I don't know how long we can say that for, but we still are. We're still a work in progress. But it's massive 3 points tonight, Ben. I think we can do it. I think we can get them tonight. But we've got to keep on City's tails. Now, City will drop away, but we've got some massive games coming up, including this. Everton is our next home game as well. West Ham in the Cup, and then Real Sociedad in the Europa League as well. We thought it was coming thick and fast. First half of the season, it's only going to get worse. So it's going to be a test of who's the fittest and who's got a bigger strength in depth as well.
And also, as well, like City have a very tough month coming up. Like this could all change in the next 3 weeks. It's proper teetering on the edge. It's just, I do feel like City are the team now who are putting the consistency together. But I think in 3 weeks' time, who knows where we're going to be, honestly.
Same with Liverpool. Liverpool have a tough run of games coming up too, although they've looked good in the last couple. I just feel like teams are going to drop points, and United have just dropped a few points. However, it's not all doom and gloom. I think the one positive to take away from the weekend, and it's a massive positive, we might have only got a point at the Emirates, but at least we got a point. That point means that we are about 9 points difference now between us and 5th place. And that is a big gap to start building. So I think that the way we look at it at the moment is A, we need to secure top 4, then B, we need to push as far as we can. And I think we've said it on this channel a lot, and Ollie said it a lot as well, to be fair, keeping level-headed. Every game's a cup game. You've just got to win it. There's no home advantage anymore. There's no away advantage anymore. If you win every game 1-0 between now and the end of the season, you win the league. It's literally as simple as that. And I think that United... Oh, hello, cat. I've only just noticed I've got a cat in the background there. I think that United need to just go out there to pick up the 3 points, because, Gaz, Southampton are not easy. They're not easy at all. We struggled against them last year. We got that 1-1 draw, the Vestergaard header at St Mary's. And then we drew 2-2, of course, at Old Trafford. Who can forget that last-minute defensive shambles from that corner that led to their goal? So then they're not pushovers. We struggled there. We ended up winning 3-2 earlier on this season. So what are you expecting from Southampton tonight?
My expectation is for the commentary team to mention that time that they lost 9-0 about 7 times in commentary, because they never shut up about it. But to be fair, they do have a point, and since that result, they've been really good. They've fallen off a little bit. I just looked at the league table before, and I didn't realise they had fallen off a little bit, but they were sort of punching towards the top 6 a little bit earlier in the season. So we know what they can do, and we know what they can do against us as well from that last game that they played. And it says a lot that we came back in that game, but we don't want to be putting ourselves in that position. And look, you look at Southampton and you know where the main threat is, and we saw it in that game, and it is set pieces and free kicks, which slightly worries me. So hopefully Ollie's got the concentration levels up.
Yeah, and on that, Russell, we did struggle from set pieces against them last time. Set pieces seem to be a struggle from us. Is that an area for you where you're expecting Southampton to try and, so to speak, stick the needle in to try and exploit when it comes to our defence?
Yeah, definitely. They often play a 4-4-2, don't they? They like to play with width and then bring it in at the last minute and get them free kicks on the edges of the box or play for the corners. So I won't be surprised if we start with a back 5 tonight with a couple of wing backs, just to kind of oppress that and stop that from happening. As negative as that is, it is a threat that they pose, and it is something we struggled with when we lost 3-2. Like James Ward-Prowse is a phenomenal player. I'm surprised, no offence to Southampton, I'm surprised he's still there, because he's not just a threat from set pieces. He's a quite intuitive and intelligent football player. So, yeah, that'll be the main threat tonight. But I expect us to go out and get the 3 points tonight. We need the 3 points tonight. They've had a tough run. They have lost 3 in a row. I think Leicester, Arsenal and Aston Villa. And now they've got us. I'd like to hope they just don't turn into, peak Barcelona against us tonight, because they can play some good football when they want to. And they've got an absolutely fantastic manager who's got a great footballing brain. But, yeah.
He has a well drilled, doesn't he?
We're going to match him like for like tonight, to be quite honest. And if we play 5 at the back, I won't be disappointed. We've got to maybe start with Alex Telles and Abu Wan-Bissaka, 2 fast wing backs who can get the ball out quickly when they do. Try and push us down the flanks.
Yeah, and Hassan Hutel, as you were saying there, he sets them up really well. They're always up for a fight. They can play football. They're strong in the tackle. They can also play in behind as well. We saw that against Liverpool with a Danny Ings goal.
Yeah, I said Southampton manager there because I couldn't remember how to pronounce his name properly.
So, Hassan Hutel. Or I suppose it's better with a German accent, but in plain English, I think that's what we'll go for. Gaz, just talking about set pieces, because it is clearly a problem with us. We do tend to concede from set pieces. We've seen it before, specifically against Southampton. We saw it again against Sheffield United at Old Trafford last time out. For you, what is the biggest problem when it comes to corners with this United side?
Well, you know what's worrying? I hold my hands up. I've never played the game to any sort of level. So maybe someone who's played the game to any level might be able to correct me on this. But I've always thought that having a captain who's a defender would help when defending set pieces, because naturally he's going to be amongst it and he's going to be there to organise the team, to calm everyone down and make sure everyone knows what they're doing. But we've not necessarily seen that. And also, I don't want to seem like I'm laying into Harry Maguire too much here, because I actually think he's had quite a good season. But I also think we have a problem attacking set pieces, or he has a problem attacking set pieces this season, because he seems to get to so many headers and he seems to be the first man, 3 headers at times, and they never go in. It's like the Sheffield United goal. I was like, finally, this guy has scored a header from a set piece, but he needs to be doing that more, because that was like one of his traits, wasn't it, in the World Cup for England, being able to do that. And we've just not seen it as much at United.
Yeah, I would completely agree with that. And I think this is an ongoing conversation with the leadership qualities of Maguire. I'm not questioning him. I think he's been world class, actually, since the Tottenham game. I think he's been superb for us recently. And I do think he is a fantastic defender in a world of where there's a shortage of world-class defenders. But you are right, organisation from corners. So what's going on here? Is it the fact that the team are told, right, we want you to go zonal today, we want a man on the post today, we don't want a man on the post? So do they set these things out before and say, right, go execute it, to which then the players are going and executing it not good enough or not to the best of their abilities? Or is it the fact that they're going, right, guys, we just need to go man for man here, or we need to go zonal here completely for it doesn't matter who we're playing against, just go zonal, and we just struggle to pick players up, and there's just a lapse of concentration all the time. I don't think it helps that De Gea is, and I'm going to say it, quite weak from corners. I also do agree, Stuart said this a few times on the channel, I actually think De Gea's organisation skills are quite poor. I don't think he is a great leader keeper. Do you know we talk about sweeper keepers? De Gea's not a great leader keeper. Like, you can never see him back in his own box demanding his defenders to drop a yard or to push up a yard. You never see it. So is that potentially the problem? Is De Gea not organising that defence from set pieces enough in front of him? Russell, come in on this, bud. What do you make of it?
Yeah, with the zonal marking thing, I think zonal marking is the best way to defend corners. I really do, but it does take a massive amount of communication, and therein lies the problem when you talk about De Gea and the fact he doesn't seem to be able to command the box, so he's very good at communicating. A big highlight of that, a big point you can look at, is now there's nobody in the crowd. You can hear people like Pickford, you can hear people like Hart demanding from the defenders, telling them where they should be. You don't hear that from De Gea. So that is a big problem when it comes to zonal marking. But when I played football and we zonal marked, what you do is you make your main 2 defenders, so Phil say Lindelof and Maguire, for example, they'd pick up their 2 best players and they would man mark them, their 2 biggest threats in the box. Then everybody else will zonal mark and pick up whoever's around them. And I think that's what United should be doing. But instead, they're just zonal marking the whole box rather than. I think they should pick up the 2 best players, do that, and then the rest of the players communicate well, with De Gea being like, the head of telling them where they should be, what's coming in, who's running in. And obviously, he's got to command the box himself and he's got to look after his job. But whilst whoever's on the back post, say we've got an Aaron Wan-Bissaka on the back post, he should be telling the players, right, Ward-Prowse is coming in, Beckner, is it? Beckner's coming in. And that's how it should be organised. But we just look fragile when it comes to set plays, and I'm always scared every time a ball comes in. The minute I'm sat watching a ball come in and I go, that's a fucking good ball, I'm shitting it. Sorry for the language. It's 11:30 in the morning. But... And
I do agree with that, Russell, as well. And I think we see that evident when a ball's played to the back post. Doesn't matter if it's played from the left wing or the right wing from open play. You can always see that Wan-Bissaka's closing in to follow a run. And then there's always a man through. And it's the same with Shaw on the other side. So who's not communicating here? Who's pushing too far over? What's going on? Because it's happening too often to be an individual problem. I don't think the problem is potentially with Wan-Bissaka's positioning. I also don't think the problem's with Harry Maguire's leadership. Is it the fact that guy behind them who can see a better picture in David De Gea, we're finally starting to see that actually he just isn't commanding his area of the pitch enough? I don't know. We can only wait and see if those improvements can be made, and hopefully they will do, because I still think De Gea, when he's on form, is one of the best in the world. And I still cannot believe some Arsenal fans were putting Leno in their combined 11 ahead of him. I'm just baffled. So set pieces, we've spoken about that, but obviously, Gaz, there is an opportunity here for Southampton. They have a bit of pace on the break, especially now they've added Walcott to their ranks. We obviously know what Long can do. He loves playing on the shoulder, and we saw Lacazette try and play on the shoulder of Harry Maguire, and they picked up so many cheap free kicks at the Emirates the other day. Is that a worry for you? Do you, so to speak, battle that by bringing Eric Bailly in for Lindelof tonight?
Well, I think that Bailly and Maguire are our best centre-back partnership. I just think the problem with Bailly, as everyone knows, is his injury issues. But I also think that we've got to stop making an excuse for him for that, because obviously it's not his fault necessarily that he's getting injured so often, but it does still affect the attribute of the overall player if he's not fit for half the season. But I do think when he's ready, him and Harry Maguire are our best partnership. One thing I'll say about Southampton, they're a very intelligent team, and if you make a mistake defensively, they will take advantage of that. And despite the fact that we know that Eric Bailly is a bit, what's the word? He's a bit of a loose cannon, isn't he? And he's a bit wild on the pitch. I actually think that Lindelof's more liable to take his eye off the ball slightly, or take an eye off his man for a split second and let him turn him. It's what we saw, happen in that Liverpool game for their first goal. And I just think that Bailly and Maguire are so much stronger. And I'll be honest, I'm still not convinced about Victor Lindelof, not in the slightest. I don't think he's got any strength. He's not necessarily speedy. He can play a good long ball, to be fair to him. We've seen that a couple of times this season. He can't really get to the headers, and he gets pushed off quite easily. For me, he's just not a Manchester United centre-half. And if I do see him start, I think that Southampton will be looking at how they can take advantage of that.
I do think with Lindelof, the one thing that I do like about him is he knows how to put the ball into row Z. And I think too many times we try to play ourselves out of trouble when we just don't need to. It happened against Arsenal, happened for the second goal against Sheffield United. Sometimes you've just got to boot the ball in. It's a rugby.
But do you not think that sometimes, though, and I agree, like at times I'm tearing my hair out watching us play it around the back, but I actually think against Arsenal, it worked really well. It was the classic sort of suck them in and try and play around them. And we saw it 3 or 4 times in the second half. It actually did come off that way. It might be the first half, actually. It actually did come off. And I was actually really impressed with the fact that we're trying to play this way, which I think is the way that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has tried to play since he's been here. But now the players are actually capable of it. And especially against, let's face it, a good team in Arsenal. It's just a shame that we couldn't have built an attack and scored from one of them, because it seems like that's what we were trying to.
I think for me, Gaz, when it works, it looks beautiful. So you're always going to look at it and think, oh my God, yeah, look, that really works. It looks fantastic. This is definitely the way you want to play football. But when it doesn't work, you just put yourself in a world of trouble. You end up playing way too safe. You can't get on the pitch quick enough. And it just causes so many problems. Sometimes you just need to go route one. And I also think with the fact that we've got Cavani now, we've got an option to go route one. So to give it a go, play it. Let's see who we can play off of. And Cavani and Bruno are never going to be able to build their understanding in real-time situation if Cavani doesn't have the chance to get the ball from a route one situation and have Bruno loitering around him to be able to feed off of him. So I think I do agree with you 100%. We all want to play the beautiful game, so to speak. But also, I just for our defenders, sometimes it is too safe, and sometimes you do just need to get it upfield and just get it going. Brendan's made a comment: lack of urgency. Just push the ball up the pitch and see what happens. Get it in behind. The amount of times we put Daniel James in this team and don't put the ball in behind, it's just like, give it a go. Let's give our players something to run onto. Had a conversation with someone today about Greenwood, and he was talking about, oh no, he isn't strong enough. He can't play up against defenders. Yeah, but Greenwood shouldn't be playing with his back to goal. Greenwood should be playing with the ball to his feet to be able to take on these defenders, stick them on their arse, or playing in behind them to run onto the balls. It's having that urgency to be able to try and find that, piecing together that puzzle, I think. And as much as I do agree with you, we do need to get better at playing the ball at the back, and we've seen glimpses of it looking fantastic. it'd be good for us to have a few more strings to our bow, I suppose I'm trying to say. Let me just quickly give some shout outs to the guys in the comments. Brandon's in there, Paul's in there, Reese is in there, Stuart's in there, the United Way are about as well. Stuart's about, Karthik is in the comments too. Thank you guys. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, by the way, and turn on your notifications. We do the United Daily Pod every day. Right, Russell, let's come
again. Just say on the back of what you just said there about what Gaz says as well about playing the ball out from the back. When it works, it looks fantastic. It looks beautiful football. When it doesn't work, it looks absolutely horrific. And talking about wanting like new balls, new strings to our ball. What Reece says there about we play too safe, we should take risks. That's similar as well. If you take a risk and it doesn't come off, it looks horrendous. But if you take risk, and that's what Man United do, that's what Fergie, what part of his DNA was taking risks, taking opportunities, and if they come off, they pay off great dividends. And I think that's what we lack a little bit, is taking a few risks. Players like Greenwood and Bruno are probably two of the only players out there who really do take risks when they're out on the pitch. They'll take shots, they'll do the step overs, they'll play a little cheeky ball over the top. And I think we need more of that as well going forward, as well as playing out the ball from the back. I think it's important to play the ball out from the back because it keeps you shape, it keeps you moving forward at the speed you want to be. You're not just hoofing it and hoping to take a chance off the last man who's on the shoulder. But yeah, taking risk is a massive part of our game, and I think that's something that we need to do a lot more as well. Also, on the Arsenal game, lads, whatever you're talking about, I'm just nodding and agreeing because I was a bit pissed during that game, so I can't remember much of it.
I can tell by the empty bottles on your left-hand side.
Mate,
I hope you've got a sponsorship, mate. You're giving them plugs.
Should I? Advertise the demo.
You should do. Let's move on. I think you make a really good point there, Russell, which gets us on to the next point I wanted to make, and that's how we can get our front players scoring goals. You mentioned there about taking risks and having a bit more urgency. So for you, Russell, what's going on? Let's talk about at the moment. Why on our we've got enough talent there and enough goals in our four forwards, let's say, in terms of Rashford, Martial, Greenwood, and Cavani, for each of them by now to at least be popping up with 10 to 15 goals at this stage with the chances that they've had. What isn't working at the moment in the front line for you?
We talked about having a natural goal scorer, didn't we? Like Martial possibly isn't a natural number 9, as good as a player as he is. He's better. It showed when he played on the left a few games back. Can't remember who it was against, to be quite honest. That he's better when he's running at players. When he's against Liverpool, I think it was, when he's running in the cup, when he's attacking players and he's running at players. And same with Greenwood. I think we need to be consistent with having possibly Cavani in that number 9 role as much as we can. So then he gets used to the players. Obviously, we'd be doing it day in, day out training, but that's completely different to when you get in a match situation. And I think he needs to be having maybe a set 4, always like set 3 in midfield and Cavani up front on his own. And then eventually that'll develop and they'll get in sync, they'll get telepathic, and they'll be able to put goals in for fun. Because we've gone, I think, from being a bit of a risk-taking team to slowly getting a bit more negative and a bit more safe and a bit more reserved again. And that's not going to win you titles whatsoever. I want to see him pushing forward, taking chances, moving the ball as quickly as he can. Maybe when we talk about bringing it out from the back as well, that's done a bit too lethargically. That's done a bit too slow. Maybe looking at switching the ball quickly. If you look at Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold, they switch the ball to each other. The greatest way to create space and exploit it is switching the ball as quick as you can across the lines, be it defensive or midfield. And I think that's what we need to do as well. Just move the ball quicker from left to right, not so sluggishly. Because if you do that, then the team gets to hold its shape, and then it's hard to break them down. And teams already put like two flanks of 4 behind us already because they're starting to respect us as a team now. So yeah, the ball needs to move a lot faster from left to right for me. Create some space, exploit it, and take chances, and have a bit more consistency with who is playing. I know it's a congested fixture list at the moment, Ben, and we do have to rotate, but there needs to be just some kind of consistency up there, so then they can get a feel for each other and know what's going to be coming.
Yeah, we're the only team in the moment in the league that hasn't put out the same lineup 2 games in a row, which goes to show that Ollie is playing about with his side. Gaz, what about for you? What's not working for our forwards at the moment?
Anthony Martial. I don't want to blame everything on him, obviously, but I'll be honest, I've kind of given up on him now, leading the line in a side that is going to challenge for a trophy. I just don't think he's he's that type of player. Certainly not in the Premier League to play as a number 9, which is a shame because I think he'd rip it up in France. I could imagine Martial going to Liga and scoring like 35 goals or something. But in this United side, I don't think he works. And I totally agree with what Russ said. That's just my Amazon delivery. Come in there. It's fine. They'll sort it. I totally agree with what Russ said. I think you've got to play Cavani in as many games as you possibly can. If you're going to play Martial, put him on the wing. But you can't have him through the middle. I think United could have really done with getting another striker in, another proper number 9, to be honest now. And I think if we got that and maybe someone like a holding midfielder, then I'd be confident we can still challenge for the league at this point. I'm just, at the moment, looking at our forward line and our defence, I'm thinking we're coming up again. Look, at the moment, we're competing against City, who don't have a striker, and Liverpool, who don't have a centre-half, and we're not above them now. So I'm sort of thinking maybe we're just not quite that level yet.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting one with Martial, and I've made this point before, and people can agree and disagree. I think Ollie's done an absolutely superb job of sieving out the deadwood. I think he's done fantastic in terms of getting players out of the club, and by the looks of it, Rojo's going to be on his way. Obviously, Lingard's out of contract in the summer, so he won't play again for Manchester United. I don't think. Dominic Booth yesterday said that he doesn't expect Jesse Lingard to play for United again. Then you've got the likes of Romero, who's going to be going, and at that point, there's no excuse. Maybe Phil Jones is the only one left. Now, it's down to that squad that we've got to prove their worth and to play for a place in that squad. And if someone like Anthony Martial can't put it together, how long is it going to be until we start talking about him as being a player who just isn't showing that level that we need to be at? A bit like what you've just said there, Gaz. Yeah, I want him to be. I still think that when he's got the ball at his feet and he's running at players for the confidence, I still think he's one of the best in the world. I don't think there's anyone better than him. I think he sits every defender down in world football when he's got the ball at his feet and he's running at someone. Like, genuinely. But the problem is we don't see that Martial consistent enough because we don't know what Martial is at the moment. Is he a number 9? Is he a left winger? We can't push him to and fro and give him loads of different jobs. I know we play inside forwards, but the role of an inside forward on the left is completely different to the role of a striker. So Martial, when he had a consistent run of games at number 9, showed how good he can be at a striker. When Martial has a consistent run of games out on the left, he shows how good he can be at that inside forward role. There needs to be, I agree with Russell on this, there needs to be some sort of consistency with our front line. Is he now the backup number 9? Well, if he is, Ollie, get in his ear and tell him how to make a difference in a game when you come on as a substitute. You're the best person to give him that advice.
At the end of the day, sorry. I mean, with Martial, though, as much as Ollie can say to him, it's Martial's legs, isn't it? And Martial doesn't. Martial seems to go against everything that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has said he wants to bring to Manchester United at times. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has said in the past, the one thing at United we will never be is outworked. And unfortunately with Martial, you know that his opposing number is always going to outwork him. And that's the problem with playing him in different positions. You've got to play him as a number 9 sometimes, because you can't rely on him on the wing, because you've got Luke Shaw bombing down, making wings, and Martial will not track back. He will refuse to track back. And it just feels like that is against everything that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is trying to bring to United right now. So it doesn't make sense that he keeps getting played. As for consistency in the forward line, yeah, but you can't just keep playing him if he's been abysmal, which he has been at times this season. In fact, throughout the entire season, 2 goals in the league? It's just not good enough, mate. And I feel like now Ollie has got to say, this guy does not fit my ethos and isn't really good enough.
Yeah, as much as I do, and 100%, I do agree with the sentiment of that. I also think that as a footballer, you need to know where you're playing. You need to know where you stand. You can't be given 6 or 7 jobs to potentially pull off on that football pitch. Martial is never going to be a footballer that tracks back and defends. So if that's what's not going to happen if you're starting Martial on the left, then you need to give Fred or Pogba that role to make sure that they are covering that left-hand side and they're putting their all into it. These players need to understand that if a player's out of position, how to fill that position. You saw it all the time. Like, again, I don't want to go back to it. Completely different managers, completely different eras. But, if Sir Alex Ferguson needed to change it around, he'd play Darren Gibson right midfield and he'd play the job seamlessly. He'd play Park Ji-sung left back. He'd do the job seamlessly. Like, we need to stop putting, I think the term is, we need to stop putting square pegs in round holes, and we need to start actually playing players where they are most comfortable. And if there is a weakness, if Martial wants to be a number 9, he doesn't want to be a left winger, right? Rashford potentially does want to play out on that left. So Rashford's first choice out on the left. We need a right winger. If Martial's going to lack game time and have to sit on that bench because we've got a better number 9 at the club than him in Cavani, so be it. At the end of the day, he's been given his chance. So he has to then, whenever he's given the opportunity, play his heart out. I still think there's a player in there. I really, really do. And I hope we all eat our words. And I know you will do, Gaz, despite your criticism. I know you hope to eat your words. Absolutely. But right now in the moment, we have to talk about him, and we have to talk about these situations, unfortunately. Russell, let me come on to you just very, very quickly, because I know we're nearly hitting the 30-minute mark. So I want to wrap up in a moment. Looking at that front line today, look, they haven't got a fast defence, Southampton, at all. We need to get at them. We need to start fast. So for you, when it comes to that front three, who starts for you today? Is it as simple as Rashford, Greenwood and Cavani?
No, I've gone with James today. I'm bringing James back in. James, Greenwood and Cavani. I brought it down here, in fact. My full team have gone De Gea, Shaw, Maguire, Bailly, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, then Pogba and McSauce, Bruno, James, Greenwood, Cavani. I just think people don't like James, but he's got a lot of pace. He can get us up the field a lot quicker than we need to, because their defence is quite slow. So I reckon I'm much surprised if James starts tonight. Give Rashford a break, because the lad's a bit tired at the moment, isn't he? And Martial's a bit tired as well. So it gives them a little bit of a rest. And just injects a bit of pace into the squad, Ben. And that's what I'll just give them 3 points tonight, baby. That's all I want.
Just quickly on that, Gaz, on the team. I don't know what team you're potentially going with tonight, but I am just 2 changes from that. I have put Rashford in because I think Ollie always loves to have Rashford in that side whenever he can push him in. If there's fitness issues, then obviously I hope that he takes him out the firing line. But for me, it's Fred next to Pogba. That's what I've gone for, Gaz. I don't know about you.
Yeah, a little bit similar to that. I'd go for probably the same defence. I think it'll be Fred with Pogba holding. I don't think we'll see Pogba starting further up the pitch tonight. I think that's a great shout, saying Daniel James, and I'm almost, because I wanted to say Rashford tonight just because it is still a tough game, but I agree that he does need a rest. I'll stick with Rashford on the left, but I think that's a great shout. James could happen. Rashford on the left, Bruno in the middle, Greenwood on the right, and it's got to be Cavani up top, but I do still have a suspicion that Martial is going to start tonight.
I think so too. Yeah, I'd rather have Cavani, but I reckon Martial will get the nod.
I think it's really interesting. I also thought that in the Arsenal game, Pogba proved that he can play that holding midfield role, and it doesn't have to always be McTominay and Fred. I actually thought that Pogba and Fred massively held their own in that middle of that park, and actually looked a heck of a lot better in the following 60 minutes than McTominay and Fred did. So I think Pogba's got his game together now, and now we've got to start trusting him in that engine room with next to Fred.
As much as he is better a bit further up the field, it just shows how world class he is when he can drop back into that 8 and 6 pivot and just play it so naturally. And it gives you something else when you're getting the ball out of there as well. Fred and McSauce are great. They are industrious. They do work hard. But sometimes they just don't have that guile to get the ball out from under the feet and get it into Bruno, where Pogba is absolutely fantastic at that.
I think you always need one of Fred or McTominay, though. You need one of them, because in Sheffield United game, we saw what happened, and Matic and Pogba together doesn't work for me.
Yeah, it's too static, isn't it? That's why for me, I go with Fred, because I think Fred is more mobile than McTominay is. Although, if we're playing against a team like Southampton, who are freaking great at pressing the ball, especially high up the pitch, I do also think that McTominay's probably a bit more press resistant if we want to get overly tactical about it. So potentially, McTominay. And to be honest, if you can get McTominay and Pogba firing, bloody hell, could you imagine coming up against those two? They're strong, they're agile, they can burst through the midfield, good passing range, they can keep it tidy. If you can get that to work, but for it to work, McTominay needs to do a lot better when it comes to his defensive duties, which sounds weird because also for Scotland, he plays in that back three, and he is a quite good defender. But when it comes to playing in defensive midfield and holding your own there in the middle of the park defensively, it's a bigger and a much more difficult job. I think it'd be really interesting to see those two together, actually, for the full 90. Let's just quickly then go from the first minute to the 90th, Gaz. How are you expecting it to play out tonight?
You know what?
I love this question.
Aren't they? They'll take the lead tonight. I'm pretty confident of that, to be honest. But tonight, I just really want to see a controlled performance. Possession stats similar to the Arsenal game. we need to obviously not be in a similar situation to the Arsenal game where they ended up with more shots. We just really need to take control of it. And I think they'll probably get an early goal. I'm pretty sure that's what happened last time out against them as well. But as long as we can keep concentration for the set pieces, because people don't mention this, in a lot of the games where maybe we have fallen behind, a lot of the goals that we've conceded have been from things like set pieces, and both of those goals in the Southampton game were, as long as we can keep concentration there, I don't think we should have any problems. But I just hope, A, Ollie doesn't mess about too much with the team, and B, when a change needs to happen, I want to see it happening at half time, or I want to see it happening after 55 minutes, a little bit of the second half. I don't want him waiting until 65, 70 minutes. It needs to happen sooner.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there. Gaz, what about a score?
3-1 Manchester United.
Nice. Controlled, comfortable, in possession, never a worry. I like it.
They'll score opening 5, but that's never a worry.
Yeah. Mate, I'll sleep easy at night if that's how the game runs out tonight. That's fine. Russell, what about you, mate? How do you think the game's going to go tonight?
Yeah, I keep being persistent and consistent with the fact that I think United are overdue giving someone a proper spanking. So I'm going to stick with that just by law of averages. Eventually, I'm going to get there, aren't I? And also, if we go out there and start giving them a spanking, then Gaz gets to hear the commentators harp on about the 9-0 defeat. So, I'm going to say we're going to go out there. We're going to find them a bit dejected after losing the past 3 games on the trot, and we're going to be 3-0 up by half time, and it'll finish 5-1 to United.
Oh.
Yeah, there's sort of no pressure on Southampton here, is there? Because they're on a sort of a bad run of form. They know this is a tricky game, and all they need to do is just come really. They've got a similar group of players and have a similar performance to last season at Old Trafford, and they could nick something. They could come on. Let's face it, they nicked that point last year. They played really well and probably deserved it in hindsight. However, they nicked that point last year, and they'd be confident from the first minute to the final whistle that at some point they will get a couple of chances to be able to so to speak, be in the game, if nothing else. So I don't think the spanking's going to be today, to be honest, Russell. I think tonight's going to be really cagey. Like Gaz, I expect there to be an early goal. And I do worry about set pieces. I know that they have got a couple of injuries, Southampton, but one of them is not James Ward-Prowse. So I do slightly worry about that. I know they have limited options at right back. I believe Walker Peters is going to be out, who's a fantastic player. He's been brilliant for them this season. So there are a few injuries there, but also Sheffield United came to us with about 7 injuries and still managed to park that bus and get that win. So look, what United is going to turn up tonight is dependent on what team gets put out and the first, I think, 20 minutes. I think it'd be KG. I'm going to go 2-1 United. But Russell, just to give you optimism, I expect that spanking to come against Everton because they're not going to park the bus against us. And as soon as a team tries to go foot by foot in attacking against us, then that's where the big wins come. So, yeah, I think KG tonight, get the win, get the job done, and then roll on Everton at the weekend when I think we'll see a much more expansive performance.
I hope it's against Everton, because my brother supports Everton. Nobody in the family knows why. He's a bit special, our kid, right? So obviously when he was younger and he got told you either support red or blue, he went, oh, Everton, right? So if a spanking's going to happen, yeah, I'd love it to be against them boys. So yeah.
Lads, that was a brilliant show, guys. Thank you for watching. Make sure you follow us on any podcast platform of your choice. Just search All for United Daily. Get us over there. You can get this whole show in audio format in your ears whenever you want it, and our previous shows too. Check them out over there. Or, of course, subscribe to YouTube channel, youtube.com/All for United. Just so you know, so we're talking in real time. Tonight, we'll have the pre-match show before the game. That'll be live at around about 7:05, I believe, with the latest team news. And then we'll be live with the reaction show straight after the game. So join us then to hopefully celebrate a victory. Go check out Gaz and Russell on Twitter. I'll speak to you guys tomorrow when we'll be on at about 12:30. So speak to you then. Take it easy, guys, and come on, United!